Welcome, everybody, to the 100-Year Lifestyle, where we are transforming health and longevity worldwide so that you and your loved ones can live at 100% for 100 years and beyond. And we have a lifespan plan for you. We're going to talk about lifespan, not just life expectancy, but lifespan, living healthier longer. That's what this is really all about. And my guest today is a really, really good friend. We did a podcast with him and his wife a while ago. Welcome, Dr. Vance Kirar from the great state of South Carolina.
Thank you.
Deja vu. We've done this before, but never
Yeah,
like this. Never like what we're going to talk about today.
no, it's pretty incredible. I mean, having milestones like this and realizing that we all have the healthcare potential to live 100 and beyond, but also to see it and to feel it, have it be tangible in your own family is just that much more incredible.
Yeah, so let's talk about that and explain that because nobody knows what we're going to talk about today. You just celebrated a birthday.
Yeah, we celebrated my grandmother's 100th birthday, and that was in May of 2026, of course, just to kind of put it all into perspective. And she's incredible. I mean, she's my dad always refers to her as a national treasure, and I have to agree because not only is she active at 100 physically, but mentally she's as sharp as a tack. And it just that's the most important part is that we can talk about anything over the last 9 decades. I mean, who knows if she can remember, when she was a child. But I have a story that we talked about the last time I was in Chicago for her birthday about when she was a child, and she shared that with me, and I was floored that we're talking about something that happened 90 years
Wow.
ago.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so, what was the story? Can you share it?
Yeah, so yeah, it'd be an honor. So I knew that we were going back to Chicago for Grandma's 100th birthday, and I always try to get back early to Chicago because there's already always so many patients, or excuse me, so many family members to visit. And so I had breakfast with my father that morning, and he said, "Well, where are you headed after this?" I said, "Well, I'm going to stop by Grandma's and catch up." And he said, "Whatever you do, don't don't rush the process. Plan on spending 2 or 3 hours with her because that's going to be special." And I said, "Yeah, that was my plan. I'll meet up with you for dinner." So I go over to Grandma's house, and we meet and we connect, and it's her and I grabbed my nephew, my brother's son Gage, to come along with me, and he's just a precious little guy. He's down for whatever always. The answer is always yes. I love that. And so I went over and sat down with Grandma, and she starts telling me about she catches up about the kids and my children and what they're up to and where they're going to college. And she starts telling me about when she was a young girl in on a Dutch farm in California, and she was probably 8 or 9 years old. All right. So we're
Wow.
talking about a story that's 91 years in the making, right? And she's going on and on about what it was like being in the farming community and what it was like having neighbors and what it was like growing up in her household. But she said the funniest thing, and one that as a young girl she didn't necessarily like, is that they only had one phone line, a party line for the entire community.
Wow.
So as a young girl, she was not happy about having to talk on the phone with everyone else having the ability to listen. Well, it was just incredible watching her navigate with such ease through this conversation. Well, about halfway through the conversation, my godmother, my Aunt Amy, came in to the house, and kind of surprised me. And I said, "Oh my goodness, well, it's great to see you." She goes, "Well, I got to grab Grandma and take her to get her hair for a hair appointment for the party tomorrow." She goes, "Would you be so kind? Would you like to drive Grandma to her birthday party?" And I thought to myself, you're asking me if I would like to go to the 100th birthday party with the birthday girl. We're going to walk in there like celebrities. You know what I
Wow.
mean? I was like, heck yeah, yes, absolutely. So, we caught up a little bit more, and then it was time for Grandma to go get her hair cut or hair done, styled, if you would. So off I went. Well, like, here's the best part. I came back the next day. I picked Grandma up. I help her in the car. We got about a 20-minute ride to the restaurant where we're having the party for her 100th birthday. And I'm driving about 5 minutes, and she turns to me. She's sitting, of course, shotgun in the passenger seat. She turns to me and she puts her hand on my arm and she says, "Hey, we were prematurely interrupted yesterday. I'd like to continue that conversation we were having."
Wow.
And I'm driving and I started to get choked up because I'm thinking to myself, how incredible, you know? Not only can she recall the stories, but she's present and she recalls things that happened yesterday that were important. And she just picked up where she left off, and we continued that conversation about her parents and about what it was like being in California, and then how she went to school and became a nurse. And it was just it was just a most incredible weekend. The party was beautiful, but just to be able to bear witness to somebody who was not only 100, but had lived an incredible life, an incredible lifestyle, and continues to live her best life now, even at 100.
Yeah, what an amazing story. What a gift, really, what a gift. And I wonder about how people are listening to this. Like, is this a freak thing that you got to do this? And, is it really, you're talking about the 100-year lifestyle, but here's the thing, everybody, if you're listening to this, 100-year-old people, according to the Pew Research Center, just came out with a new report that 100-year-old people between now and 2050 are going to quadruple. The population is going to quadruple. Who are those people? It's you. It's you, it's your family members, people that never thought they were going to live this long. And I'm curious, do you know how long your great grandma lived? Her mother and her parents? Did they live to 100?
Oh, no, no, Grandma has won the award. No doubt about it. She is the oldest. She is the oldest in our family that we ever know about right now. But we have had several family members in their upper 80s and even their mid to lower 90s. So long, I mean, if you're looking at it like that, longevity is a part of our family. And one of the things that I absolutely love talking about, especially when I'm in the public and communicating the 100-year lifestyle, is that life expectancy. I mean, when Grandma was born, her life expectancy was somewhere between 50 to 55. So even when we're talking about our relatives that only lived to 80, 85, 90, even, they they lived not 200% of their life expectancy, but 150%, 160, 170%
Yeah.
of their life expectancy, which is also really incredible because that means our children, Dr. Plasker, our grandchildren, um, if they do 150% of their life expectancy, we're looking at 140 years of age, or
Yeah.
120 years of age to 140 years of age. That's incredible.
It is incredible. And, we talk about, and I didn't mention this at the beginning, but Dr. Vance, Dr. Jill, and his incredible team at Kirar Superior Healthcare, they are leaders in our 100-year lifestyle movement. You are very lucky to have them in your community. They do an amazing job. They speak well. They give great care. They do care, and they want you to live your best life every day with healthy, optimized spine and nervous system and great lifestyle choices. And so we're so proud to and honored to know your work and to see what you do in your community. And I'm curious about your grandmother. What was her lifestyle like? What did she do to maybe keep her healthy? Because it's really not about, we talk about this a lot, it's not about getting to the number. It's not about the number at all. It's about the quality of those years along the way. Because truthfully, nobody knows when they're going to die. So it's really, if you have that potential, the question becomes, how are you going to live to enjoy the quality of those years? So talk about her lifestyle a little bit.
Yeah, I love this conversation because how can I say, where she shined the most, I believe, was with her mental toughness. She had challenges along the way. She had, um, my grandma is a cancer survivor, very young in her centenarian lifestyle. Um, but diet, very important. All right. She always was aware her background in her education was in nursing. And I think that empowered her to not settle for one answer, to constantly be searching for things that she could do that could make herself or the family healthier. As a child, I remember that anytime we were sick, my mom was all over it. Well, on my mom's right hand side was always my grandmother. And and she was just incredible. It was just this presence of confidence and understanding of what the body needed in order to heal better, feel better, function better. So anytime we were sick, grandma was always around. Mom always knew what to do, but she was raised in that same household. So it just made sense. I think, an incredible story. My mom and my grandma, they were always very naturalistic minded. Even though grandma was a nurse, she knew that medication and or surgery was always a last resort. It was a crisis situation where you had to focus on the other things, the natural remedies, if you would, the body's own ability and natural immunity to heal from the inside out and to show and function properly through every phase of your life. My grandma, she knew this. So I think that nursing background, and I want to share this with you, which is really kind of incredible because this speaks to the nurse, the person who wasn't going to settle for whatever was just being said. She was always on the search for the proper way to do things. Not this past May when I went and visited her for her 100th birthday, but it was last year when I went to visit her. I was back in Chicago for a conference, and again I stopped by Grandma's house, and I hadn't seen her in a little while just because I hadn't been back in Chicago and she was having some trouble with her shoulder. So I was like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. Of course, I'm going to talk with grandma and see what's going on. And of course, I'm going to get her adjusted. But I wanted her to be comfortable with me adjusting the shoulder and doing muscle work and really helping her feel better. Well, she says she went to the doctor and the doctor saw that she was having trouble with the shoulder and he prescribed to her a medication. And I said, okay, grandma, how's that going? She goes, well, I instantly, mind you, she's 99. She goes, I instantly went to my phone and looked it up. I said, what? She goes, yeah, I just jumped on Medline and cross-referenced the medication they were going to prescribe with my current medication. And she goes, I can't take this. This is going to give me a heart attack. And she gave it back to the doctor. And the
Wow.
doctor
I
said,
love that.
oh, wait a second. Okay, let's switch this up. So you have this 99-year-old woman who is her own healthcare advocate, not just going to plug in blindly. And it's really neat. We talk about your health, your healing, your responsibility. And sometimes I say that in a way, and I don't want patients to feel like I'm pushing too much back onto them. We're going to do everything we can to navigate and identify what the underlying cause of the problem is. But we need our patients, like my grandma, to take responsibility and ask questions and be curious, and that way she can be her own healthcare advocate. It floored me that this doctor had a 99-year-old patient that's questioning the medications that she's prescribing or they're prescribing, and I thought that was incredible. And my grandma wasn't upset. She loves her doctor is a good friend of hers, but it was just incredible that she was confident enough to have this conversation and mentally aware enough to navigate the research. And I said, well, and so here I am at my grandma's house, and she's giving me the website so I can cross-reference patients' medications. It was incredible.
So cool. You know, it's interesting. The healthcare system back then, way back 100 years ago, 90 years ago, 80 years ago, 70 years ago, 60 years ago, 50 years ago, was much, 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 much different than it is today. It has, unfortunately, we hear all the time, and it's probably why your grandma is so diligent about double checking things that our doctor says, because she's actually lived through that transformation where now there's drug ads on TV every 5 minutes. There's could cause death, could cause death. They tell you what it's going to cause. People are getting much more aware. And finally, I believe, starting to wake up and be much more conscious about things that you and I have been talking about in our practices for a really long time. And we talk about in the 100-year lifestyle. And so when it comes to now, let's kind of shift gears because we know grandma's our hero, all of our heroes right now because of how she's living. Talk about, with everything that's going on in the world, how is what you're doing for people as a 100-year lifestyle certified chiropractor, leader in this movement? How is what we are doing for people improving their health span and their quality of life today that will also support their quality of life as they age? Because, I mean, you've been in practice how long now?
23 years.
23 years. Yeah. So you're a rookie with me at 41, but you're a very highly
Right.
experienced rookie. I'm just messing with you, of course. Um, but you raised your kids this way, and I've gotten to know your family well. I get to adjust your son when he's in town. Now I'm going to get to meet, hopefully, I'm going to get to meet his new wife. Congratulations.
Mhm.
That's super
Thank
duper
you.
special. I got to have lunch with your wife and your daughters a couple of weeks ago, a month ago now or so. And so,
Mhm.
but talk about how, because what I have seen is, because we've been talking about health span a lot, not just health care. Health span is much different than health care. Health span
Mhm.
care is what we do with 100-year lifestyle. We are helping people live
Mhm.
healthier longer. And the United States does have one of the worst health spans in the free world right now. But we're changing that. You're changing that. How are you doing that with the chiropractic care and the lifestyle recommendations that you're making for the people that you're seeing, regardless of their age?
Yeah, well, it, everything that we do initially, we're focusing on functional improvement, right? It's nice to be out of pain, but pain relief and spinal stability is just happens to be our first goal. When we're able to achieve better functional health, we're able to identify how can you maintain your strength through every phase of your life. And that means not only being out of pain, but also being able to do the things that you love and want to do. And that's really the picture that we paint. So once we get the usual patient out of their pain cycle, we expand their goals and their focus to how can we positively affect your life and your lifestyle for decades to come. And I've taken that a step further after 23 years in practice, and after you 10 years ago, a whole 10 years ago, you turned us on to the 100-year lifestyle, and it was just like somebody hit a switch. It made so much sense to not only lead, but lead by example. And so, if I was going to live my ideal 100-year lifestyle, like I teach my patients to live their ideal 100-year lifestyle, this not only is great for me, but it's so great for my wife and my children and my brothers and sisters. Well, the same applies for my patients. So once the patients start doing great, I want to absolutely take care of their children. I want to absolutely take care of their spouse. I absolutely want to take care of their church family. And that way, as they age, they have their friends and their family along their sides, and that is their social group. That's their reverent group. And everybody is making healthy decisions, and it's easy for them to be successful. Which, by the way, is one of the things that I absolutely wanted to talk about. My 100-year-old grandma has an incredible, and her name's Willa, by the way. She's incredible. And Willa, she has she has family around her that absolutely loves her, that's always in touch daily. I love this. My father goes over and visits with her and eats with her on a weekly basis, and it's just this incredible perpetuation of wonderful relationships. And I think that's really what we build in our community, is that I'm interested in building a relationship with you as a patient, but what I'm really interested in doing is plugging you in or educating you about your ideal 100-year lifestyle so you and your family can celebrate health and longevity through every phase of your life.
It's a beautiful thing. And it's when you see those relationships, that's a major part of healthy longevity and the 100-year lifestyle is having multiple circles of people around you, of generations around you. Because what happens is like if you just have one circle, your chiropractic circle or your church circle, and something happens in that circle, maybe the church closes down or whatever, and they move to another location and it's out of your range anymore. And now you lose that circle. Do you have another circle? You have to have multiple circles. So God forbid something happens in that circle where you lose a circle, you're not alone anymore, that you have another circle or two or three or four. We have our practice circle. We have our doctor's circle personally. We have our family circle. We have our friend circle. We have our community circle. So if you lose one circle, you're not alone anymore. So I love the fact that Grandma Willa has got circles around her that she can feed off of, draw from, and celebrate with, and just be with through the ups and the downs of life. And so multiple generations also are really important, everybody. I mean, if you're in your 50s and everybody you know is in their 50s, and there's no extra wisdom there from the older people, there's no youthfulness around you. When you surround yourself with wisdom and youthfulness, it's easier to enjoy your life and move forward in life. If you're older, you get older in your 70s, 80s, and 90s, and everybody passes. This is a big thing for people as they get older, is they lose the people that they love, or they don't have that circle of peers anymore, so they end up alone. If you don't have these other circles, it can really harm you. So Will is a testimony to living what we call the 100-year lifestyle. Max got to 100. If you haven't heard that Max story, crippled, broken, alone. Will has gotten to 100, healthy, vital, energetic, surrounded by love. So I know that that means a lot for you and your family. And what's it like for your kids to see your grandma, their great grandma? You're a 100-year lifestyle leader in our world here, and you're living it. And here you have this 100-year-old grandma that's their great grandma. What's it like for them?
You know, just to be able to realize that they have it in their heritage, in their, if you would, genes. And genes of course need to be expressed. So if they make healthy decisions, they're going to live a healthy lifestyle. And they're floored by it. It's really interesting. I always I enjoy tremendously watching my children navigate certain questions, because there some of these very difficult questions, they just say, well, of course I'm going to live that long. That's how long our family lives. And it's like wow, to be able to be at the forefront of that, to have a conversation where to live to 90 is just normal, and to break 100 now is the standard. And it's one of the things I had the pleasure to speak at my grandma's 100th birthday and address my friends and family and my grandmother. And it was an incredible opportunity. But one of the things that I said that holds true is that she has set the new standard and the bar, where all of my brothers and sisters and my children, her grandchildren and great grandchildren, now are going to have the ability to know that they have it within themselves to live into triple digits and do it with style. I mean, she's smart, she's beautiful, she's active. I mean, well, here's the crazy part. She still lives at home.
Wow.
She has an assistant that comes in and checks on her. When I was there, she wouldn't let me do anything. She didn't want me to do anything. She goes, I don't need people to do stuff for me. I can do it myself. And she was happy to do it. Talking the whole time, communicating, telling stories. It was just amazing. So my children see this and they go, well, this is really amazing. But I think the real seed that's been planted is that they want to take great care of themselves now, because they know if they take great care of themselves now, they're going to live in that active 100-year lifestyle with uh, how can I say well, for lack of a better term, just with style, have energy, you have your mental capacities, you're able to have those social groups and networks and enjoy it every year along the way.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm just curious because I know in your practice you have a lot of people that you have become their primary care practitioner. You are their number one choice. It is definitely true for us. We are the number one choice for many of the people that we see. Not that it's a competition or anything, it's an organic thing that happens once people get educated the way that we teach people about how to live. So, question is, how do the healthiest people in your practice that you see utilize chiropractic care compared to the people that are on the roller coaster, how they utilize chiropractic care?
Yeah, so the roller coaster, let's start with that first, because these are the patients that only come in when they're dealing with a very severe crisis, right? When they're dealing with a significant amount of pain or dysfunction, and they're just interested in getting back to that point where they're functional again. Maybe the pain goes away. And so what we do is we educate them that pain is the sign and indicator that something is wrong, but it's often the last thing that shows up. And thankfully, it's the first thing that goes away, but we've got to find the underlying cause of the problem. So it's more than just pain relief. We are a structure rehabilitative office. We balance spines. We adjust and balance the spine to take irritation off the nervous system. Everywhere those nerves go is going to function better as a result without interference. And so we educate our patients that by getting your spine adjusted and by turning the power of the nervous system on, or at least turning it up, so the body can elicit a healing response but express what true health is. That's where they want to live their life. And so once we get them pain free, we recommend that they maintain the correction that we've achieved. We always say, and this is straight out of your recommendation, Dr. Plasker, that the intensity of their lifestyle care it depends on the intensity of their lifestyle and the underlying condition of their spine and nervous system. And I love that because we oftentimes have a lot of patients that feel like they're weekend warriors. They feel like they're really, really strong and they live very active lifestyles, but they suffer needlessly because they're not proactive in their health care. And so they'll look to a sick care system where they're taking drugs. And when they come into our office, they realize they don't need that anymore and they can focus on becoming stronger and healthier every generation. So as they age, they're actually getting healthier and younger. Imagine that.
Imagine that. It's amazing. And, as we call it, it's going from crisis care through this critical transition to lifestyle care and performance-based care. And what's interesting, what a lot of people don't realize when they get started under care, any type of care for anything, when they feel better, usually the reason why you feel better is because the inflammation is gone. But just because the inflammation is gone, it doesn't mean the cause of the inflammation is gone. So when you stay consistent, regardless of how you feel, so your body can change, that's when true healing happens. You get off the roller coaster and then you get into your life. And I love the way you said it. And thank you for quoting me. It is what we say all the time, that the intensity of your lifestyle care depends on the intensity of your lifestyle. And you always want to get ahead of it. You always want to stay ahead of it. If you feel like you need it, you are inflamed. You're inflamed. So if you know you're going to get inflamed after 10 days, make 7 your number. If you're going to get inflamed after 6 days, make 5 your number. If you're going to get inflamed after 2 weeks, then make 12 days or 10 days your number, so that you could always stay ahead of it and stay off the roller coaster. And what do you notice when people do that, when they do live the way that we're talking about, their ideal 100-year lifestyle, utilizing lifestyle care properly, keeping their nervous system functioning at a very high level? What do you notice in those people, and things like the color of their skin, the whites of their eyes, the energy level that they have, the posture and how they stand? What do you notice in those people?
I could simplify it in one word: change. They just change. I notice it emotionally with them first, is that they're just more at ease because they know their body is healing and functioning better. So not only is there a physical aspect of the adjustment. There's also an emotional aspect of it as well, where they're dealing with less stress, that they're sleeping better, that they're moving better. Now, it's real simple to say if you have a misalignment in your spine, what we call a subluxation, that it's going to cause the bones not to move properly, and you're going to be stiff and rigid, and you're not going to have flexibility. So it's easy to say, well, as you get more flexible, you're going to be able to do other things. Well, do other things. The muscle spasms go away. The strength returns, the muscle tonicity. So we notice that people are going to the bathroom more frequently. It's actually a joke in our office that patients come in, we get them adjusted, and instead of moving towards the front door, they're moving towards the bathroom.
So
And then
what are you
so
trying to say? The bowel has nerve supply?
well, 100%.
Oh,
And
okay.
when patients connect the fact that when they get adjusted, they eliminate toxicity throughout their whole entire body better. This means that we have patients that cleanse and detoxify better, of course, after getting adjusted. We have patients that lose weight better when they get adjusted because
100%.
it helps their body assimilate food. They're able to work out better because they're not hurting constantly, and they have better flexibility. So not only are we looking at the pain symptom pain cycle, we're also looking at what here we call lovingly the Performance 100. And that's one of the things that's incredible. We just started working with and are the chiropractic team taking care of Charleston Southern University athletes. And I'm honored to be that, but that's all performance based. So whether you're a weekend warrior or whether you're a Division I athlete, the 100-year lifestyle
Or
and the
whether you're a
principles of the
grandma turning
Performance
100,
100,
right? Or whether you're a grandma turning 100.
or you're a grandma turning 100.
Yeah.
Chiropractic has something special for you. And it's not anything magical. It's just balance the spine, activate the nervous system, and then the body does what it was designed to do, which is heal and function as close to 100% as possible. And I feel like I'll feel like I will yell and scream and teach that principle for the rest of my life. And I'm just a kid, especially if we're talking about 100 plus.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And so as we wind down, which we could go on for decades, you and I just talking, we have been going
Yeah.
on for decades doing this. Um, So we have a saying, we've written articles about it, we've published articles about this on 100yearlifestyle.com, our platform. If you haven't been there, go there. Go to Dr. Kirar's website. We feed a lot of content to them. You get a lot of great information there as well. We wrote something called Everything Works Better with Chiropractic. And it really speaks to a part of this conversation that I think is relevant and a good way to transition to the end of this conversation. Because what we have found is that more and more we're seeing that, like we just had a woman earlier today, new patient came in. She was seeing a physical therapist. She came in here to get adjusted. We have people seeing their functional medical doctors. They send them here to get adjusted. We have people, the personal trainers at the high school that we're a team chiropractor for. They send them here to get adjusted, to get chiropractic care. Why? Because everything works better with chiropractic. Every hormone you're taking, every vitamin you're taking, every food that you eat, every doctor that you see, whatever, relies on a healthy nervous system for them to get results. So we work with the nervous system, and that's why everything works better with chiropractic. So talk about that as we wind down and we give people a really good big idea about how they should utilize this care to help them optimize their nervous system so they could live their 100-year lifestyle.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, that's incredible. I think the best way to describe it is to take a page, um, take a page out of Reggie Gold, where and Reggie Gold, for our listeners who don't know, was known as one of the greatest chiropractic educators. I know you had a close personal relationship with him as well, Dr. Plasker, and I would love to try to honor that right now. And he taught that everything in the body is controlled by chemistry, and the chemistry, the chemicals in your body are produced by glands, and the glands are controlled by nerves. And and the nerves are protected and encased by bones. And if there's a misalignment in those bones, it's going to irritate the nerve. The nerve's not going to function the way it's supposed to. And when that nerve goes to the nerve goes to the gland is still going to produce chemicals. It's still going to produce hormones, but it's not going to produce them properly. So you are going to be living in a body that's chemically imbalanced. Now, raise your hand if you like to be chemically imbalanced. That's a disaster. Everybody knows somebody who has been chemically imbalanced,
Sure.
and it's horrible. The body cannot and will not function the way it's supposed to because the chemicals are out of balance. So, and that leads to the glands are out of balance, the nerves are out of balance and irritated because the bones are out of balance,
And when you say the
and
bones of the spine.
the bones of the spine, that's correct. So when we adjust the bones of the spine to balance them, we take the irritation off the nerves. That irritation that comes off the nerves allows the nerves to properly communicate with the glands. So the glands then can start to produce chemicals and hormones properly, and your body can start to function and heal properly. So imagine this, the imbalance that you had that used to be chemically based now is balancing. The glands now are functioning the way they're supposed to. The nerves are now functioning without irritation, without inflammation, and all of a sudden your body is now able to achieve optimal health and peak performance through every phase of your life. And I love that. And that's really the message, is that no matter who you are, whether you're a little baby or whether you're 100 plus, you have the opportunity to function at a higher level. Chiropractic helps to make sure that the body is balanced so it can achieve that optimal health and peak performance through every phase of your life. And that's why chiropractic works better with everything else. And we co-manage patients with physical therapists and orthopedists and primary care doctors. And I love that. We should be co-managing patients so they get the best of all worlds. And we're still inspiring our patients to take responsibility for their health, just like my grandma did, so they too can live their best life now and in the future.
Mic drop. That was fantastic. Uh, I must say, I'm so inspired by you and your family, what you're doing for your community. If you are anywhere near Charleston, I'm talking about within 1,000 miles, you should go. You should go visit our friends at Kirar Superior Healthcare. They're doing an amazing job. KirarSuperiorHealthcare.com, drkirar.com. You'll find them there. We are very proud to have them as a part of our family, as a part of our team. Dedicated, loyal chiropractors, doctors who are making a massive difference in their community. So Vance, Jill, your kids, your team, doing amazing. We're grateful to you. And so if you are a doctor, so see them. If you have not heard anything about what we're doing before, but you're hearing about us now for the first time, go to 100yearlifestyle.com also. We have a ton of content there. If you don't live in Charleston, we have doctors that are certified 100-year lifestyle providers in communities around the country, growing number of communities around the country. If you are a doctor listening to this and you want to be a part of this movement, and you think like this and you want to take your understanding of this to the next level, you can become certified 100-year lifestyle provider. You can contact us directly, 100yearlifestyle.com. And what is exciting for me, with knowing the direction of the way healthcare is moving in the world and the people waking up, to know that they have leaders like you, Vance, Jill, your team at Kirar Superior Healthcare, is really, really, really helps me sleep better at night and gives me a lot of hope for humanity, because you're changing a lot of lives. So thank you for your time, your commitment, your trust, your love, your authenticity, your loyalty. You're amazing.
Thank you. You make it easy. There was no doubt when we first learned about the 100-year lifestyle over a decade ago, and we've been focused ever since. It is as a true visionary, Dr. Plasker, you are, and I appreciate the path you have blazed for us, and it's incredible. I mean, every town, every city should have 100-year lifestyle doctors taking care of their community. And I'm just so blessed to be that in Charleston. And I just love every bit of it. One last thing I'd love to add, and as I was preparing for this podcast and thinking about grandma, I was able to reflect upon just how important her social network was, right? And how she not necessarily leans on that social network, but how that support system is there and how much joy it brings her. So I want to have our audience just take that minute to reflect upon your family, your extended family, and I mean everybody has aging parents and grandparents, and what a blessing they are. And I urge you to go and visit them or reach out and make a phone call and just say, hey, I was thinking about you and how special that is.
Wow. Wow. I love that. Well, fantastic session. Listen, if you are embracing this 100-year lifestyle, and if you're not, now's the time to take it on. Here's to living at 100% for 100 years, everybody. Just like our good friend, Dr. Vance, Jill, and his team are doing, and all of our people are doing. Join our family. Can't wait to hear your story. And thanks for being a part of our journey. Take care, my friend.
Thank you, you too.